Are you pregnant, about to conceive, or of childbearing age? Then you need to know this important fact. Chances are quite high that a woman will have a tear or get an episiotomy, whether or not it's her first childbirth and whether or not she has had it previously. A lady commented on one of my posts not too long ago and said, "They have succeeded in giving me episiotomy 2 consecutive times in my 2 childbirths. I just pray I retain my pride and confidence as a woman and wife." To this lady, the nurses and midwives are to be blamed for her situation. Thus she wrote, "They have succeeded in giving me episiotomy 2 consecutive times." The truth is, if you don't know and do your part well to prepare, you may still get injuries, though the nurses and the midwives should try their best. Another lady still wrote this one that aches my heart each time I remember it. "I'm a victim of childbirth injury, already suffering from pain of episiotomy. I can't even sit properly and pus is coming out from there." In this second case, it is either the area the lady was giving the episiotomy wasn't sutured well, or that she didn't manage it well to heal. Her condition could worsen to a point of anal or bowel incontinence, where she may no longer control her bowel flow. Another lady still wrote, "After the tear I got during childbirth, I discovered I pollute the air or gas uncontrollably. What do I do, and how can I avoid it next time?" All of the above show the reality that women face at childbirth, and it's worse in Nigeria, basically for 3 reasons. 1. Shortage of workers. With a few hands on ground and a long queue of pregnant women waiting to be attended to, the available nurses and midwives have to do whatever is convenient to still meet up. Thus, giving you an episiotomy with a sharp blade will be an easier option for them, while you bear the damages. Sometimes the only staff on ground is the one that lacks experience as to what exactly needs to be done. Isn't that enough reason you should try to know what to expect, so you can tell when they are playing games with your life and stop them? Of course, a major reason for shortage of workers is that the hospital wants to pay few workers to possibly still make more profits. That's for private-owned facilities. Then for government hospitals, it is mostly that the staff are not often at their duty posts. 2. Lack of space facility. In most maternity centers where space is lacking, the nurses and midwives are also left with no better option than that which saves time and space, so they can quickly discharge you to attend to others. As a result, they don't exercise the patience to see you deliver naturally and safely. And even after giving the episiotomy, most of the times, there are no materials readily on ground to repair the wound. Worse also is that the right person to do the suturing may not even be available. That exposes the woman to more danger of infection and other complications. 3. Lack of equipment. This is another big issue, either that the equipment is not available or that the available one is not functional. Why on earth will a hospital know they aren't ready, yet they are admitting patients to waste 2 lives as a mother and child? Isn't that a death trap? I was reading an article the other time on the website of the Nigerian Health Watch, and it was about a man that the wife gave birth with injuries, and the hospital didn't have the common drug to control the bleeding. By the time the man returned from where he went to check for the drug, the wife had passed on. The worst part was that the man left the matter to go like that because he felt that even if he should take a legal action, it would still be both waste of time and resources. But he could have tried. So it shouldn't be a surprise why Nigeria is among the top 4 countries with the highest maternal deaths, estimated at 58,000 yearly and about 150 daily. These are women dying only from childbirth cases. Most people working in the hospitals have seen a number of people die that the thought of the next person dying doesn't move them at all. I will never forget in my first pregnancy back in 2016 how my husband warned me never to use any drug they will give me at antenatal until he has seen it and confirmed that it was okay. He's a manager in a pharmacy company, so I believed he knew what he was talking about. Then one Tuesday, I went for antenatal and they gave me one anti-malaria medication. I quickly called my husband if I should go ahead and take it, since he wasn't going to return home early. but insisted I don't. Finally, he returned and looked at the drug and was like, this batch of the drug has already expired since 2014. This is now 2016 and the expiration date on the drug reads 2019. You can imagine. I didn't even believe until he brought it out from the pack and it was clear that they had cut off the part they wrote the expiration date on the sachet. The next morning, he went to his office and got the current batch of the drug that hasn't expired and showed me. Then by Thursday that same week, he went with me to the hospital to confront them. And trust my husband, he first came in calmly as though he was making inquiry, but he was recording the moment. When everything was now obvious, they started begging, saying it was the guy that supplied them the drug that played that fast one on them. It's just that I begged him to forgo, otherwise the hospital would have faced being shut down. But what touched me most was a woman we met at the entrance of the hospital who was already leaving, and since she had the hospital bag, I approached her to see if they gave her that same expired drug, and right there was the same expired drug in her bag. I finished telling her why we came and she ignored us and left with the drug. I wonder what she was thinking. Except God had intervened, the life of that woman or her child or both would have been endangered. Likewise, many others who got the expired drug before we came to stop the hospital from giving it out. So we are not just talking about lacking the necessary drugs or apparatus, but how sound such are if available. You now see why most of your leaders will travel out to get their health needs. You may not have such money and privilege to do like them, but there is something you can comfortably do that works perfectly.
It's indeed a thing of joy if you are pregnant and should be celebrated, but the celebration will not be complete if anything should go wrong at the latter part of childbirth. It is vital for each upcoming mom to be ready and take charge from the early stage of pregnancy. If that isn't done, it could end up in trying to choose between the mother's life and that of the baby, either the mother dying or the baby dying. Why should that be the case when the mother and the baby could have lived? There's actually a war, but you can win. Knowing what the battle entails is already halfway the victory, as that will help you get better prepared.
Everybody agrees that the greatest job a woman has with pregnancy is not about getting pregnant. It is about giving birth. That's why it gives the most concern when that time starts approaching. I have found that it's very natural to be afraid of a definite task ahead when you know you aren't prepared or prepared enough for the task. You will hear people say that the worst pain for any woman to go through is childbirth. That is very true, and the reason is simply that many don't prepare for it. So there is every reason to have tocophobia, the fear associated with childbirth. But childbirth can be easy. Isn't it reasonable to think that if there are people who have had it easy with childbirth, then others can learn their secrets so they can enjoy the same? So the question now is, how do one find out their secrets? That is what we are here to learn. When you know the exact thing to do, you will prepare better without wasting time and effort in trial and error. And the better you prepare for childbirth, the more your confidence grows as your EDD approaches. Remember, we are talking about important facts you need to know. And the first I mentioned is that chances are quite high that a woman will have a tear or get an episiotomy, whether or not it's her first childbirth and whether or not she has had it previously. I also told you that over 50,000 pregnant women in Nigeria lose their lives yearly to childbirth complications, making the country one of the most dangerous places in the world to give birth. In fact, I'll be surprised if you haven't heard of anybody you know that has been a victim. So here is a summary of the report by UNICEF and World Bank. It reviewed that in 2015 alone, 58,000 Nigerian women lost their lives to childbirth and pregnancy-related causes. To clear any doubts, here is the breakdown. Every single day, Nigeria loses about 145 women of childbearing age, making her the second largest contributor to the maternal mortality rate in the world, according to UNICEF. Try multiplying 145 by 365 days in a year and you will get 52,925. So 58,000 dying that year would have been possible as stated. And note that 50,000 plus are only those who died, We have not even added the greater number of them who sustained injuries that could have been avoided. Another fact is that most of these injuries at childbirth are mostly unnecessary and preventable. Of course, it is a fact that some of the complications following the injuries are medically incurable. So we can't even say here that prevention is better than cure, as there are no known medical cure. Only God can intervene. I had a first-hand experience of childbirth trauma during my first childbirth that lasted for almost a year after. It is only better imagined. The fact that I am a nurse and still face this was not funny at all. So what we are talking about doesn't respect certificates. I had a 3rd degree episiotomy cut, and for months I was in pains. It was so painful urinating, let alone talking or making love with my husband. It was that bad. It was one of those days my husband saw me in pains that he started asking if this is what every woman had faced or would have to face. What was in my mind was finding relief myself, but my husband was looking beyond my pains to other women having to face the same issue. That is where the journey of creating this guy started. Research upon research revealed there was no cure to the challenge. That was how we started researching if there was any way to prevent the problem. The only thing we found people were doing at the time in a bid to preventing the problem was to engage in perineal massage. But unfortunately, many still get injuries at childbirth after doing perineal massage. So it was obvious that perineal massage wasn't just the solution. More was lacking. All that perineal massage tries to do is to help widen the pelvic so that the baby can have easy passage. But just that was never enough. So we went into research. After about a year and few months, we came up with a solution that has helped over 500 pregnant mothers to enjoy childbirth without such marriage-threatening injuries. Look at some of the feedbacks. I cannot thank you enough. I am a first-time mom using this approach and I had no stitches. Had the shortest second stage possible. I can recommend this over and again. I think every woman should be using the same. Thank you so much. It's Angelita, blogger mom. Another one here is, it ended up being my best investment in the pregnancy. It helped me a lot to prepare mentally and physically. I had an extremely short second stage of labor that lasted for like 5 minutes. No injuries, and I walked away on my own. Highly recommended. That's Mrs. Mia. Definitely the best investment during pregnancy. It helps physically but also mentally to prepare for a birth. I had a very positive experience and ended up with only 2 minor tears with absolutely undamaged perineum. The minor tears were just because I didn't control my baby weight, which was 4.4 kg at birth. There's another mom here, Manwa. Then we have other testimonies here. Amaka from Enugu. The points are well detailed and practicable. I recommend it for all women. Eno from Cross River. I wish I knew this earlier. Ignorance na bondage. I recommend you get this. Linda from Jos. Wow, I couldn't have figured this out on my own. Even made it realistic. I highly recommend this. Rejoice from Ondo. Amazing points, fantastically presented with practical steps, super easy. Recommended. Aisha from Abuja. I feel confident now. I'm pretty sure what to do and how. I recommend it for all. Susan from Edo. Me that don't like reading, finished the 2 models in less than 2 hours. Both insightful and helpful. Recommended. Matilda from Lagos. What you don't know, you don't know. That's how I feel now. A good material to always recommend. If you were thinking that it was easy getting the first set of people to try out if this works, then I can tell you that it was far from that. Even when it was being offered for almost free. When we first launched the solution officially back in 2019, after I had my second baby, most people we reached out to didn't believe that it is possible for a woman to give birth without sustaining such serious injuries. But 2 questions we normally asked were, 1. If something is possible for one person, will it be possible for another? And the popular answer we'll get is, of course, yes. If the other person can be taught how and will commit to the same process under the same condition. Then the next question will be, are there women who have had childbirth naturally without issues? And they will always say yes. Yes, but just few. And I love this second answer more because my vision is for many, not just a few, to start enjoying the possibilities. Let's quickly look at more facts to the issue. 1. Whether your baby is 3.5 or 1.5 in Nigeria, you are not totally free from getting an episiotomy. 2. Whether it's your first time or fifth experience with childbirth, the possibility of getting vaginal injury still remains. Fact 3. Doing recommended pregnancy exercises alone will not exempt you from suffering vaginal injuries at childbirth. Fact 4. Choosing a highly rated hospital doesn't guarantee you will have it easy with childbirth if you don't master how to engage yourself in the areas you have carefully highlighted in this course. Fact 5. Bleeding is the highest cause of maternal death, and tearing or episiotomy is a major cause of bleeding at childbirth. Fact 6. Healthcare providers seem to care less about what happens to you, since they can blame it on anything and go unpunished. Fact 7. Though prevention is said to be better than cure, some complications that come with childbirth have no known medical cure. Thus, their prevention is the only right thing to do, or one should get ready to face the consequences. You are about to discover a 100% natural technique to practice from the comfort of your home. And being a combined approach makes it super effective than any other approach ever known. Are you ready for this? The lesson starts by enlightening you on adequate pregnancy diet to improve the health of your unborn child while keeping the weight in check, and how you can achieve this diet plan with your local meals. You will get to understand your body equation in relation with your partner to be better informed as to what is expected of your type. Then you will learn how to select the best healthcare provider and what to do next to secure their maximum support that you need. Next are the recommended tips and tricks and how to go about them and be able to measure progress to possibly tell for sure that you are on the right track. Finally, you will learn to combine the points above to meet the two most important requirements at the hospital for injury-free vaginal delivery to be possible. Testimonies from experts. Currently, almost 90% of my clients use these special techniques. It helps them to prepare for the pressure they will experience during birth. They are able to breathe the baby out real quick. Most of them combine the new approach with perineal massage, and the results are astounding. The vast majority have no injuries. It doesn't matter if they are first moms or not. All of them praise the technique afterwards. I sincerely appreciate from Amazon.
The information contained here helps tremendously. As a pregnant mom, you will know how to engage your pelvic muscles correctly, among others. The pressure during labor is very specific and requires a right combination of muscle engagements and other techniques to be effective and safe. This is where the technique helps a lot. Women are ready, confident, and in control. Or my midwife.
Now, doing these 4 simple things will eliminate every chance of childbirth injuries. The possibility of an injury-free delivery lies more with you, not with your healthcare provider, even though they try their best. Let's get deeper. Truth is, childbirth is obviously never going to be easy. You simply have to get smarter to make it appear easy. The more skillful you get at it, the less stressful for you. Hope that makes sense. Now let me hint you on this one thing you must begin first with to enable you significantly eliminate the chances of having childbirth injuries. I want you to envisage a normal vaginal delivery of your baby at full term without complications. Please make that your focus. It is a possibility that some have enjoyed, and I do believe that any positive possibility that one of us experiences is a possibility all of us can enjoy. So you have to believe that normal vaginal delivery is possible and that you have your share of that. With this belief, it becomes easy for you to start exposing yourself to the how. I can even say that you believe in that possibility already, otherwise you wouldn't spend your precious time on this. Now, the how to achieving this possibility is captured in a few things I'll be sharing with you briefly. I am Mrs. Simma, a registered nurse midwife, and currently lecturing in one of the schools of nursing here in the Southeast. I got married back in 2016 and am a mother of 2, a boy 4 years old, and a girl 2 years old.
I was once a first-time expectant mom, very excited to have gotten pregnant some months after our wedding, like any pregnant mom normally will feel as her EDD approaches. I was, as my first pregnancy, both wishing this couple would pass over and at the same time so scared of the painful obvious that I had no idea how to escape. I don't like pain or injury a bit, just as you. Like you probably did, I heard many frightening stories about pregnancy and childbirth, stories of lost injuries and pains. Not knowing what else to do, I prayed and kept praying until delivery day. Even while in the labor room, I finally suffered the worst pain ever. The 3rd degree episiotomy cuts that left me in anguish for the next 6 months or so. I vowed I wasn't going to take in again. I felt God doesn't answer prayers.
Giving birth to my boy was a hell experience, as I was given several episiotomy cuts that took up to 6 months before I could feel myself again. Of course, I couldn't make love with my husband for that long. I even would have lost my boy that first time due to stress of protracted labor pushes. That experience was what led to this important discovery on birth without injuries, where I will be revealing 2 most important things you must do back home and other 2 to do at your next and last visit to the hospital, and you'll be so sure to push out your baby easily without cuts, tear or episiotomy. I actually had my second childbirth with no episiotomy cuts, even when my girl weighed more than my boy in that first pregnancy that almost left me with depression.
Unlike me in my first pregnancy, now I know what works. As my EDD kept approaching, I wasn't any scared of the painful obvious, as I now have idea how to handle things. I had my second baby without such vaginal tear or episiotomy, unlike at first, by reducing or eliminating childbirth injuries. I was able to reduce the time of labor by more than half. Reducing the time it takes to give birth meant my baby came out quicker and was not stressed out, which has led to many stillbirths or babies dying shortly after delivery or requiring more medical attention, as they could develop some extreme medical conditions that will increase the hospital bill. By not allowing my baby develop some of those extreme medical conditions, I saved myself from running in and out of hospital weeks, months, years after birth. Some of those medical conditions could be physical deformity that could make the child become an object of pity to the society, as the child could still be dependent while he or she should have started taking responsibility. Thus, avoiding childbirth injuries helped me give birth to a baby I'm proud of as my own, and that will grow up with the right sense of confidence. Again, reducing time of delivery helped me avoid the protracted pain of labor that leaves many moms stressed out and even to pass out in some cases. Reducing vaginal injuries also saw that I was not in pain weeks, months or even years after putting to bed. Problem of anal or bowel incontinence and the discomfort and shame of wearing adult pampers, which is very expensive, was also eliminated by preventing my vagina from tearing apart or from episiotomy cuts. It is also without dispute that one of the reasons my husband got married to me is to enjoy fun with me. This same is true for me, but both of us will not have continued enjoying this beautiful part of our marriage if I was negligent to have avoided the injuries on my side. This has been a major cause of infidelity in most relationships. By preventing childbirth injuries, I also helped to protect my marriage the much I could.
You see, nothing is really a problem to be concerned about if it does not pose threats to lives and the things we value. Avoiding vaginal injuries at childbirth will exempt you from some of the complications a woman is most likely to face if she should suffer such injuries at childbirth, whether it's vaginal tear or episiotomy.
Vaginal tear or episiotomy, which is basically a surgical procedure, an incision made in the perineum during the second stage of labor, is generally associated with problems, some of which include 1. Prolonged pain due to the tear or cut. 2. The newborn could be deprived of attention as the mother is often in pains. 3. The problem of incontinence, loss of bowel control such that she often gets stained or even often urinates or passes stool involuntarily, even in the public. 4. Problem resulting from suturing when it is carelessly performed or managed. A woman who was given episiotomy was said to have been using hot water on it. She had to return to the hospital for another suturing. 5. Long absence from sex, which could make the man to start looking elsewhere. 6. The financial waste in trying to manage the condition. 7. The psychological trauma, and more. Apart from the body damages resulting from these cuts, the huge amount of blood that is lost is a major reason for the high maternal mortality rates in the country. Our target is to achieve a tear episiotomy-free delivery, and by that help promote the right self-image and body balance of the women after vaginal birth, in order to also help her fit for reproductive life. Being fit, especially after childbirth, will also help drown the chances of husbands losing interest. You don't know how excited I feel each time I receive the news that someone who got my material on reducing childbirth injuries gave birth with little or no injuries. Just recently, someone chatted me that the sister she got the material for had it so easy with her first childbirth. Note, her first childbirth. Yes, I needed to stress that at her first childbirth she had it this easy, yet some other women in their second and even third delivery still get injuries. Of course, it isn't just that this lady got the material, but that she also followed through with the simple instructions. Physical labor injuries, that is vaginal damages, either as a result of spontaneous tearing or episiotomy, can be prevented and have been prevented in several occasions. It is these injuries that contribute the most to the pains a woman may experience after childbirth. So by preventing childbirth injuries, you can very well reduce labor pains to almost zero. Note that labor pains cannot be completely eliminated, but can be significantly reduced to a point the pains cause no damages.
As you already know, your vaginal health, if compromised, can affect 1. Your marriage, your sex life, 2. your ability to urinate, 3. your chances of vaginal delivery in the future.
Heaps of women are living with bladder weakness, otherwise known as anal or bowel incontinence, a condition resulting in uncontrollable sudden discharge of urine, feces or gas, but only a few dare to talk about it. Mary tells us how hers started. It was in my early 20s, after my first child was born, that I realized I wet my undies when I sneeze. I made a makeshift pad from toilet tissue and tried not to think about it, but it happened again and went on and on.
By birth injuries, we are specifically referring to episiotomy and vaginal tear, and every risk associated with those. The image you see here gives you a little idea of what we are talking about. Imagine that it was your vagina being cut open like this. May shout God forbid, like I once did and still had it. Was it not God that still said, "My people are destroyed for the lack of knowledge"? You see now that it must be God helping you by bringing you knowledge like this one. In most hospitals around here in the country, the doctors and nurses don't care if you sustain any injury at childbirth, so long as it makes the job easy going for them. I mean, most of these people don't even care if someone dies, let alone just sustaining injuries. But that should not be so. Again, here are 3 major reasons giving birth in Nigeria is risky. 1. Shortage of workers. It may get too late before you find someone to attend to you, as there are few medical hands on ground with many to be attended to. 2. Lack of space. This makes them rush you so that they can discharge you and admit the next person. 3. Lack of equipment. When the required equipment or even drug is not readily on ground, or the available ones have issues, such is a threat to lives. Longer versus shorter labor. One interesting thing I found out in the course of creating this guide was that women who sustain vaginal injuries usually experience longer labor, while those who do not suffer such injuries had shorter labor of not up to an hour on the average. Longer labor is associated with more risk of injuries for both mother and baby. In fact, I started searching to know whether this is true with other women elsewhere, and I was amazed to get the same results. I will show you a few screenshots on that just shortly. But do you know why it had to be so? The simple reason is that as labor delays, a lot of energy is wasted both for the mother and the baby, while the midwives or doctors will start trying to either force the baby out or cut the woman so that the baby can easily come out. And many times such births result in either baby or mother dying or sustaining severe injuries. But when it is a short labor, there will be no need for the midwives or doctors to start applying those extreme measures that could result to injuries, except you haven't trained your body to respond favorably. Now take a look at the few screenshots here and notice the parts marked in red. Observe that none of the 2 women above had their baby up to 3 kg, yet they both got cuts and stitches. Also, you notice that those that had injuries had longer labor, 27 hours, 4 days. Then see the next images. These two women didn't have injuries, so no stitches, but also observe that labor didn't last so long for them, just 1 hour plus for the first and 15 minutes for the second. Though the second lady didn't give her birth weight, but see that other lady by the leg, baby's weight 3.7 kg, yet no injuries. Please, the above is not to scare you, but so you can see proof. I tell pregnant moms to do everything to keep fear away, because fear can have very negative impact on their unborn babies. So much more to share on discoveries we made, but let's get to the solution part. Just before I go any further, please understand that there are basically 4 things to do, and getting any of them right goes to increase your chances of not having vaginal tear or an episiotomy. But getting all of them right, which is pretty easy, should significantly reduce every chance of having birth injuries, vaginal tear or episiotomy. So the first point is your baby size. Now, the size of your baby in the womb, head circumference, especially relative to the mother's birth canal, can help tell if vaginal delivery will be smooth or stressful. The simple logic here is that if the baby's size is small relative to the mother's vaginal opening at the point of delivery, there should be smooth flow. But in a situation where the baby's size is larger compared to the mother's birth canal, the vagina, there could be struggle. By relative, I mean to say that a baby that could make it easily through Mrs. A's vaginal opening at delivery could find it difficult if it were Mrs. B's vaginal space at the point of delivery. So that Mrs. A's baby weighed 3.2 kg and she was not given episiotomy doesn't automatically mean that Mrs. B wouldn't be given episiotomy if her baby should weigh the same 3.2 kg. What the above means is that each baby side is to be considered side by side with the mother's vaginal wideness at the point of giving birth to help the woman give birth vaginally without such damaging injuries. But nurse, my baby wasn't that big, yet I got caught in my vagina. Why? Someone recently asked. Now, in my own case, for instance, my first baby was about 3.5 kg and I got episiotomy cuts, whereas my second baby weighed around 3.8 and I didn't get such cuts. So it's not just about baby size, even though that is a key factor. What many seem not to have realized is that in a situation where different factors combined will produce a certain result, one doesn't just choose to attend to a single part and still hope to get the needed result. This is why many of the previous recommendations you probably know about have not really worked for most. It is like the 10 commandments of Moses. Failure in one is failure in all. But thank God this is just 4 and very easy to apply too. At least you should get 3 right to be sure of avoiding these injuries with their complications. I know many women who, for instance, say that perineal massage doesn't work, while we can't exactly tell if they did it the proper way and manner. A major reason it might have failed them is that other factors they should have given attention to were neglected. Combination mechanism has always proven to be more effective, and that is what makes our strategy a powerful one. You know, because it has been found that just one formulation for malaria isn't effective any longer. Concentration is now on anti-malaria combinations. Earlier, when it was just 2 factors that I put into consideration instead of the 4 that we now have, the result was not as predictable as it is now. The feedbacks we got really helped us to get this working much better. It is good when people are sincere to tell you that something isn't working, so you know where to improve. At first, when the result was not expected, even though it was still fair enough, we felt it was because those pregnant mothers were not doing their part well. But by the time we started paying closer attention and researched further, we saw there were 2 major areas we had not really taken time to address. One of it is the ancient Hebrew secret that we yet show you. I believe you must have heard statements like giving birth like the Hebrew women. I am going to show you what key factor they leveraged on to prepare their baby as well as their body for easy delivery of their babies back then. Some people think it's just their faith in God. While their faith helped, there was this major action they took to complement that, otherwise that faith wouldn't help. Remember that faith without work is dead, being alone. The moment we addressed those 2 other factors, the result we started getting was now massive. I get people sharing their excitement for how the tips and tricks has really opened their eyes to things they would never have known. In fact, just sharing those unique points with you should tell you that they have to work even before getting to try them out. Feedback. Mommy, good morning. I have given birth. a baby boy. No tear, the book really helped. Awesome, ma. I gave birth July last year to twin. No tear at all. I'm grateful for your advice. Thanks so much for checking on us. God bless my family with a bouncing baby girl just before the lockdown in March. No tear, no complications, to the glory of God. Another one. Good evening, ma. I put to bed on 28th October instead of 5th of November. I was given as my EDD. My baby wasn't big, 3.3. Your book encouraged me to be strong. Another one. My name is Tony. I'm a digital marketer. I'm contacting you because I want to help market your publication, Preventing Childbirth Injuries and Easing Labor Pain Significantly. I've read it on Okada Books and I feel many will be interested in reading it too. I'll promote it using Facebook. It's a guide many pregnant women want to have. My wife and I read it and she was really excited about it. I believe many women in her shoes will also feel the same. You gave me so much. Thanks a lot. May God bless the work of your hands. Another one. Finish reading. We'll keep reading over and over again till my due date. Thank you. Quite informative. It's very helpful. Other pregnant women need it like seriously. I'm in love with the book. Though now no question, but we allow to if need be. 9 months has ended. I really appreciate your works and I enjoyed your teaching. May God bless you and your family the more. Wow. Now, understand that baby size or weight is only one aspect. The other 3 points combined should deliver the result. By the way, normal baby size weight at delivery is between 2.5 kg and 3.5 kg. Through scan, you can always tell your baby's current weight. Knowing your baby's weight will help you know when to adjust. Some ladies go for scan few weeks to their EDD, and when the scan result reveals that their baby is weighing very low, maybe 1.9 kg or 2 kg, they quickly start eating uncontrollably. And in a matter of a week or so, the baby has tripled in weight and they can't reverse the deed. Now, they don't know what else to do and they end up suffering injury at childbirth. Please avoid that mistake. It is one of the pitfalls that make birth process difficult for most women. What is even the need for a big size baby? So you can post on Facebook or other social media platforms and receive wonderful comments while you still suffer the pains? Just a few weeks ago, a doctor friend was telling me of a lady who gave birth to a baby girl that weighed over 5 kg. Of course, it had to be by CS. The baby was looking obese. It is actually known as fetal macrosomia. Another lady also had hers with 4.9 kg and the boy was looking like one big daddy with pot belly. Some of those funny pictures you see on the internet are actually true. But have you ever heard that someone won an award for a big baby? There could actually be so, but does it worth the pains? So why suffer unnecessarily? By the way, big baby doesn't mean healthy baby. Oh, I see, you want your name to enter the Guinness Book of Records. But please, if you want your baby to look very big, the wise thing to do is to get the baby out first. Then you can start feeding him or her to any size you want. If you are desperate to have a baby that weighs beyond average at birth, then just know that you are not ready for an episiotomy through tear-free delivery. That's just the truth. I'm not afraid to say that. Someone chatted me to ask whether people are ordering my course with the way I made everything open. It was one of these men that got it for the wife. Actually, he's in the medical line and it is normal to call one little issue by a big medical name that frightens patients so that they can be humble. I simply asked him why he had to get it for the wife, and the funny thing was that he got it because of how plain I went with the truth. So did every other person that got my course. Over 500 of them. Maybe it would have been more if I quoted my course with some unrealistic benefits having to do with this issue of pregnancy and childbirth. The facts are there to verify for yourself. Let's look at controlling your baby's weight at pregnancy. So are there things one can do to control the baby's size while the baby is yet in the womb? Certainly there are. If there is nothing one can do, then it's of little or no use talking about your baby's size. To possibly do that, we'll look at the factors one after the other.
Major factors that influence your baby's size. Wait. Baby size could be influenced by several factors, of which some may be controlled while some may not. For instance, a woman that is diabetic may find it difficult to get her baby's weight within the bracket of the average baby size above. The reason is that when diabetic, the excess glucose that is present in the body is consumed by the baby. That makes the baby larger than the normal. So check if you are diabetic. Don't be too quick to conclude that you are not a diabetic patient, even if there were never any trace of such before now. It is important to know that sometimes diabetes could be pregnancy induced. That means to say that the woman may not have prior record of diabetes until she takes in, and once after putting to bed, diabetes goes. This is a condition known as gestational diabetes mellitus. Knowing their diabetes status helps you know what to expect and the necessary actions to embark on. Women with diabetic issues may be advised to go for CS, which is even safer compared to episiotomy if the doctor knows his job very well. Diabetes level in pregnant mothers can be managed using insulin. If you are diabetic, try to see your doctor immediately. So women who are diabetic usually should expect big babies. Let's suppose you are not diabetic. Then you are the type that wants your baby to look so big at birth. You should rethink or get ready for some body damages. What food do I recommend you should be eating as a pregnant woman? This is an area many ask a lot of questions, and by the time you start suggesting foods, you will hear someone telling, I don't like how I feel each time I eat that, or I don't eat that. And I quite understand, because people have their local diets that they don't want to miss for any reason whatsoever. So I got smart and developed a new approach to say that it's not really about the food one eats, but the nutritional content which one is to derive from the food. That makes more sense, right? But it leaves us with some responsibilities. I'm going to show you exactly what to do without having to change your local or favorite meals. You already should be aware that your baby, while in the womb and while still being breastfed, depends only on whatever you feed on. That is why it is always advised you don't take any drug except you are sure a pregnant woman can take it, and you can always trust your doctor to ascertain that. Having to do with the food you eat, you need to know this first. There is lots of misconception of what a balanced or adequate diet is. I wish to clarify you on that. Balanced or adequate diet is not when you eat, for instance, protein today and tomorrow you eat carbohydrates. No, you have to capture as many classes of food as you can in one meal to make a balanced or an adequate diet. And where it's not feasible, the time spacing for the intake shouldn't be too wide. Maybe this definition would help. A balanced diet contains adequate proportions of carbohydrates, fats and proteins, along with the recommended daily allowances of all essential minerals, vitamins and health promoting substances. For example, rice is carbohydrates plus beans, which is protein, plus vegetable, which is vitamins, plus meat, mineral, plus oil and water. Consider a plate of food that contains all of this. That becomes an adequate diet if each is in their right proportion. Just to give you a quick idea, take a look at this image. So you need the different food nutrients to be captured in every meal. It may not always be possible to have all in one meal per time, but see that you do the much you can. Haven't you also realized that the routine drugs you are given are to be taken all at once? So the function folic acid has to perform shouldn't be suspended while others are working just because you forgot to take it. The same applies to fruit intake. Bring different fruits that contain different vitamins to achieve a balance. The reason for explaining this to you is not so that you don't only deprive your body or baby certain nutrients that would have aided in development for any day, but also so that you cultivate it as a habit to always eat right. In the full guide, I will be showing you exactly what to do. Remember that we are talking about your baby's weight, and it is important you know what types of food to avoid as well as the types to go for. For instance, carbohydrates should be well reduced in your meals. I've explained this extensively in my course. Make sure you study that part once you get the course. I will tell you how to get the course by the end of this video, but make sure you first understand this part I'm sharing here.
Parental factor. It is very normal that offspring will take after the character of the parents. As a result, we can expect that the parents' gene will have an impact on the baby's weight. From a medical observation, if the man is of a certain stature different from the woman, as I explained in the PBE table in my course, and their baby should take after the father's stature, then the woman is likely going to face a hard time with vaginal delivery. But if the woman's stature is to match up with that of the man who is responsible for the pregnancy, as shown in that PBE table, then there may not be a problem as such if the other points are also to be considered. By PBE, I mean Parents' Bodies Equation. It is a table that shows the likelihood of a woman's painful experience with childbirth. If you have my course, you can find it in the second module. Where you fall in the PBE table matters. It is with finding out where you fall into that you can know how to start working on yourself. Ladies in the first category in the PBE table are usually at more risk of having tears or episiotomy during childbirth, especially if the man responsible for the pregnancy is also in that first category. If you happen to fall into category 2, 3, or 4 of that table, it doesn't mean you should relax. You also need to get other aspects right, otherwise you will most likely still fall a victim of childbirth injuries. Having to do with baby size, there are other measures to take, since parental factor may only be controlled if the woman had considered childbirth before choosing who she marries. That is where we'll continue the discussion in the main course. Then I will also show you 3 other techniques that have helped over 500 of my students avoid childbirth injuries from the comfort of their homes. This course, 1, will enlighten you so that in case your daughter or midwife is getting it wrong, you can raise alarm. 2, will show you how to choose a perfect delivery center and not fall for big names where you pay from your nose and still have them disappoint you at the end. This point is extremely important for you and your baby in the womb. You will learn easy ways to get this aspect right. 3, to help you improve labor speed and the elasticity of the perineum to reduce the chances of episiotomy or tear. If labor is progressing normal and the woman has dilated well, the need to use the episiotomy option will not arise. From my findings and experience, an episiotomy almost always goes with longer labor. 4, it will help save your baby's life. With longer labor also, there are more chances of a baby dying during or shortly after birth. The simple reason is that the baby would have been stressed out with the several failed pushes. 5, to save you from excessive loss of blood. Excessive loss of blood can be life-threatening. 6, it will help you know how to avoid vaginal tear. With shorter labor though, there will be no need for episiotomy. Vaginal tear can still occur. We will learn a simple trick to avoiding that. Amazing features of this guide. 1, it is a straight to the point short guide to master in just about an hour. 2, it is a 100% natural solution that doesn't violate any religious or cultural rules. 3, it's very eligible font and accessible in your mobile device. 4, it comes with several premium video training guides. 5, the knowledge remains relevant in subsequent childbirths. It teaches things you can practice from the comfort of your bedroom. 6, it is written in simplest English language that anyone can read and understand. 7, nothing else would you need to buy to achieve the results. 8, it teaches you how to personally tell you are making progress, so you know when to stop or work more. Get the full courses and all accompanying bonuses at today's new batch offer price. One mom said, after going through your presentation, I deeply told myself that if what I have learned so far for free is this good, then the remaining that I have to pay for will be super good. And I was right. That was all she needed to convince herself. Please help your baby, even if you don't want to help yourself. If you will wait for anybody to convince you that your baby needs your care, then you don't really know what being a mother entails. You don't want to miss this. Now think of the cost of having to suffer this injury with its terrible complications. Think of the embarrassment of not being able to hold back urine, gas, or feces in the public. Think of having to start wearing pampers just because you can't tell what will happen next. Bag of adult pampers, maximum of 12 pieces, is nothing less than 3,500 naira, and one will need at least 2 per week if she economizes one. Also think of your marriage, how this will affect it, and your baby being deprived of care at that tender age. So consider how much you have to gain at the end, and you will agree with me that this is worth it. Presently, we are admitting only a few numbers for the next batch that will be putting to bed in the next 1 to 6 months time. As such, not everybody will get the opportunity to enroll. Remember, your vaginal health is far more important than your hair or dressing or anything that you can put up that others see, especially now that you are married. I understand you may be out of cash at the moment. Maybe you should talk with your husband, so don't miss out of this golden opportunity. Pregnancy and parenting must involve the two of you if the process must go smoothly. Maybe you are like, is it not just a book? Not at all, man. It is not just a book. If I should pour in honey into a bottle that normally contains water, then that bottle is not just a bottle. The content has redefined it and given it some higher value. So we are talking about real-time solution here for an important issue that even most of my professional colleagues are too shy to talk about. Yet lives keep wasting in their thousands and nobody is courageous enough to challenge the mess. If you are to get everything I have to give you separately, you will be spending as much as 158,600 naira at the end of the day. Look at the breakdown. The main cause, vaginal delivery without injuries, which is 28,500. Bonus 1, my comprehensive compiled notes from one of the pregnancy courses I took for $200, which is about 73,000 at the time. Bonus 2, free access to pregnancy audiobooks of your choice from Amazon. I'll be showing you where and how to legally access pregnancy audiobooks by world-renowned authors. The prices are in dollars. You'll be able to access any audio of your choice without paying a dime. I value this secret for nothing less than 10,000. Bonus 3, how to conceive the baby of your choice, boy or girl naturally. Value is 5,500. Bonus 4, 70 standing morals on building your relationship for keeps. Value is 7,600. Bonus 5, your security in marriage. Value is 4,500. Bonus 6, short explanatory videos that simplify the process even further for you. Value is 15,500. Bonus 7, simple tips to productively engage excess weight gain during pregnancy so that your body can naturally return to its best fitting. Value is 6,500. Bonus 8, access to our new private WhatsApp/Facebook group. On this private WhatsApp group, you will not only be getting tips on pregnancy but also on parenting and productivity and much more. Access to the Facebook group is free and is for life, but for the WhatsApp 1-year membership access is 7,500. That is a total of 158,600. But you will be getting everything together today for just a talk. Getting to enroll today means you will qualify for the 7 amazing bonuses from me. 2, you need to deal with every fear as early as possible. Already I told you that your confidence rises with your preparation. 3, if you start today to prepare, you will stand a greater chance to prevent these injuries. 4, admission into this scoring badge will soon end. Those who want to wait for subsequent ones may miss out a lot, and even if they don't, the price for the next badge will certainly be higher. Nobody needs to tell you whether you need this text. Please help your baby even if you don't want to help yourself. If you wait for anybody to convince you that your baby needs your care, then you don't really know what being a mother entails. Here again is everything you'll be getting for a bonus price today. The main course, vaginal delivery without injuries, value is 28,500. Bonus 1, my comprehensive note, valued at $200, which is about 73,000 naira. Bonus 2, access to pregnancy audiobooks of your choice. I'll be showing you where and how to legally access pregnancy audiobooks by world-renowned authors. Prices are in dollars. You'll be able to access any audio of your choice without paying a dime. I value this secret for nothing less than 10,000 naira. Bonus 3, how to conceive the baby sex of your choice, boy or girl naturally. Value is 5,500 naira. Bonus 4, 70 standing morals on building your relationship for keeps. Value is 7,600 naira. Bonus 5, your security in marriage outline. Value is 4,500 naira. Bonus 6, short explanatory videos that simplify the process even further for you. Value is 15,500. Bonus 7, simple tips to productively engage excess weight gain during pregnancy so your body can naturally return to its best fitting. Value is 6,500 naira. Bonus 8, access to our new private WhatsApp through Facebook group. 1-year membership access for the WhatsApp is 7,500 naira. That is a total value of
158,600 naira. But you'll be getting everything together today for just a token. To enroll, you either see a form to fill or a button to click just below this video. Just check now. If what I've just shared with you for free is mind-blowing, how much more the rest? So make haste to enroll today. Just check now.